Thank you so much, David. It's wonderful to have you back with us as always. I'd also like to introduce everyone to Reverend Chris DiGiorgio and welcome him back for his second time with us. Reverend DiGiorgio is a transformative spiritual teacher and ordained unity minister. He has led many workshops on spirituality and meditation. He is a group leader at Unity Pride, a gay men's spiritual discussion group in New York City. Thank you very much for joining. And now I will lead us in our centering prayer. I invite you to settle into your seats comfortably and come fully into the present moment. If you like, close your eyes and gently follow your breath, observing, noticing how it expands and releases. Just focus on your breath for about 2 or 3 breaths, noticing how it expands and releases. Now bring your attention to the space between your eyebrows and notice there a golden light. See that golden light sending its rays within you and without you. See your golden light and notice your breath. As we gather today, we not only affirm our connection to one another, we also affirm our connection to all humanity. We pray not only for the health, wholeness, and happiness of our loved ones, but we also pray for our brothers and sisters everywhere. We affirm in this moment our connection to one another and the power of that connection to heal, to make whole, and transcend any and all perceived lack. Please repeat after me. We are whole, we are healed, we are loved. We are whole, we are healed, we are loved. One more time. We are whole, we are healed, we are loved. Thank you.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Kaywood, and this community for asking me back to speak with you today. How do we live a life that we want? And how does it seem others are living a magnificent life and I'm scraping by? Or is this what life has to offer? I bet all these things might have come to you at some time or another. Surely life sometimes feels like an amusement park ride with its ups and downs and its merry-go-rounds. Sometimes things come and go, sometimes they stay the same. Some things stick around and some things repeat themselves. It's all part of the ebbs and flows of life. With this in mind, I like to read a poem from Mother Teresa called Life Is. Life is an opportunity, benefit from it. Life is beauty, admire it. Life is a dream, realize it. Life is a challenge, meet it. Life is a duty, complete it. Life is a game, play it. Life is a promise, fulfill it. Life is sorrow, overcome it. Life is a song, sing it. Life is a struggle, accept it. Life is a tragedy, confront it. Life is an adventure, dare it. Life is luck, make it. Life is life, fight for it. The central question today then is, how do we live our best life? I believe we live our best lives by being our authentic selves, which is love. It's not so much as doing love as it is being love. Being love means acceptance for the situations in your life, being present in your day-to-day activities, establishing and maintaining connections, commanding your life and the choices you make. So in my Sunday Zoom group that I meet at 5 p.m., shameless plug, we're discussing a book called Love Without End by Glenda Green. And a lot of this talk is about this book. And this book is one of my favorite books. It's a book that keeps speaking to me in very profound ways. I think most ministers that I know love a good quote, and this book seems to have a chock full of good quotes. And I'd like to give a little background to this book that we'll be discussing today. Glenda, the author, is a world-renowned artist with many of her paintings at various art galleries throughout the world, including the Smithsonian and the Museum of the City of New York. And one day she gets this strong idea she must paint Jesus. And one evening she gets this beam of light through her third eye and sees the picture she's going to paint. And it is this picture of Jesus holding a lamb, and there is a lion-shaped cloud in the sky. So she starts this project, and who appears before her? None other than Jesus in her art studio. And she's painting Jesus, and they're having these profound conversations, and this is the basis of the book. Now, for many of you, this may be a little woo-woo, and I must confess I like a lot of woo-woo. So just because something that is presented to us that seems maybe a little far out does not mean it doesn't have truth. And heck, the Christian story has a lot of woo-woo, and still scholars are dissecting it over 2,000 years. So with this in mind, it brings us to the quote that links our talk title today. Life is ... getting off the skateboard and connecting with the pavement. Mother Teresa tells us we don't fully live our life if we don't connect with it or fully engage it. And that to me is what the poem I read is all about. We live life by being who we truly are, our authentic selves, which is love. Life is being the love that you are. So here's the quote. You see, being the love that you are means to accept, to connect with the situations of your life. Too often people skateboard on the surface of life, seeking sensation, driven by desire, propelled by dissatisfaction. The irony for them is that life works only when one steps off the skateboard and makes contact with the pavement. The first step in realizing the love that you are is to honor and to accept your inevitable connection to life. This quote by Jesus in the book, he says, engaging in your life fully. We will encounter frustration, joy, challenges, and learning. This is all part of what we call life. And in the book, there's another statement Jesus makes that impacts this talk, and that is, a rose is still a rose, even if it's with mold and mildew. So that links up with the love that we are. We are still loved, even if we're beaten down and tired, or upset, or sad. We are still loved, even when the appearance tells us otherwise. We encounter life through our work in the world. The challenge is to be present to it. I recently heard a talk about Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Buddhist monk who recently just passed. A friend from the West was visiting him in his Plum Village location outside of Paris. And after a meal, Thich Nhat made it his practice to wash the dishes. And the friend said to him, please sit down, I'll wash the dishes for you. Thich Nhat's response was this: are you going to wash the dishes to get them done, or are you going to wash the dishes? You see, after washing the dishes, Thich Nhat would have tea with his guests. But if you're thinking of tea with your guests, you're not washing the dishes. The key is to be present in life. Whatever life has for you in this moment is the opportunity to encounter it, not looking always to the future. So ask yourself, how often when we are doing something, are we thinking of something else? I know I do that. How about you? Am I present now? Am I fully engaged in what I'm doing right now? Or am I thinking of past or future? These are all good checking questions. Part of skateboarding in life is wishing circumstances were different. And often that leads us in the path of past or future. Being present is a skill worth pursuing. It keeps us in contact with the pavement, as the quote says. Another quote from this book is, life is an adventure in connecting. The connections you make affirm and strengthen your character. The ones you make in love are the ones you will hang your garlands on. All the rest are consumable experiences. Life is about connections. And as this above quote demonstrates, I remember the story Jesus tells in the book about a mother having difficulty with her son. Whatever she did not seem to work, and their relationship got more and more troubled. It got so bad, she thought, maybe I should send my son to live with my brother, and he would have a fresh start. She went to sleep one night and could not sleep. Something was off. Then something came to her. She went into her son's room in the morning to wake the child up. And when she did, she gave the child a soul-to-soul hug that they did not share for a very long time. She realized in that moment her son needed her. She could not skateboard through this. She had to step on the pavement and connect with her son. See, she could easily let her son go and live with her brother. But that's not what life and connections are all about. They're about being present in the connection. That soul-to-soul hug was what was needed. They still had work to do in their relationship, but the hug and being present in that moment was the first step in healing their connection and their relationship. In our lives, we often think we can control our lives. We are often confronted with situations as much as we want to change what is. We decide often, if only I can control the situation, things would get better, only to find that control is a cheap counterfeit. It does nothing that creates a chaotic situation in your life. It does nothing more, than create a more chaotic situation in your life. So there was an interesting story in the book again about command in the book. Glenda shares an incident when she was a little girl growing up in Texas. She was in the rodeo riding a horse. Now, the goal was for the horse to go around these barrels as fast as she could. And as hard as she tried to control the horse, so she could make a faster time, the horse would make these wide turns, slowing her down and making the time longer. This certainly wasn't the outcome she wished. She had to make the horse make more efficient turns. One day, an old rodeo man came up to her and asked her, "Young lady, how much do you weigh?" She answered sheepishly, 110 pounds. "And how much do you think that horse weighs?" "Over 1,000 pounds. The rodeo man asked, "What makes you think you, a little girl of 110 pounds, can control a horse that's over 1,000 pounds?" The point the old man was making is that when you try to control something, you may get partially what you desire, but there's always going to be something missing. Jesus makes the argument when we command a situation, allow certain things to naturally occur, you may get a far better outcome than when you try to control it. Glenda allowed the horse to do what was natural to it, amalgamating her desires with the horse's desires, and the times that she wanted were achieved. Only by making that subtle change in idea, instead of controlling the situation, I command the situation, did she achieve her goal. And she could not control life, but she can command life. This is a distinction. Command is through love and respect for the process. Control is putting a series of rules that ultimately wage control. And quoting the book says this, control is an instrument of separation. Command is an instrument of oneness. So ask yourself, what pieces of life are you trying to control? Are there ways you can decide to change course and command? Next is, what are the choices you're making? To express the love you are is to make choices that enhance your authenticity. As we engage in life, we realize who we truly are. Often we do things others would have us do. Choices can make us happy or make us sad. If the choice is not aligned with your authenticity, it can make you depressed. I recently heard about a successful entrepreneur called Kathy Heller. She was an aspiring singer and songwriter. She moved to LA working her way to a record deal. And she got one. And she was talented, but her records didn't sell. And the record label dropped her. She was at a crossroads. And she was told by someone, well, while you're out here, why don't you make the most money you can? And she was told the way to make the most money is to go into real estate or finance. And from a series of circumstances, she met this successful commercial real estate agent, and he helped her make a go of it. And she became a very successful commercial real estate agent. She was able to have a wonderful apartment, a Mercedes convertible. But after 2 years of doing this, she was miserable. She had some savings and decided to quit her commercial real estate job. She had to change her thought about what success was to her. She wanted to go back to the music industry, but she knew she couldn't do it the same way. She decided she had the skill to write music and songs, and she found out there were musicians in LA making music for TV and movie productions. She decided, let me find out who I can talk to. And she started cold calling all these different people in the movie and television industry. Instead of hiring an agent that would tell the producers and TV and movie industry, I have a client who has this music catalog. She would call anyone she could who was looking for music and ask this question: what project are you doing? What type of music are you looking for? And she would write the music they were looking for. She instantly became successful in what she was doing. Her career blossomed. And she not only was doing that, but she taught others how to pivot like she pivoted. She made a conscious choice on how she wanted to live her life. Her life is a promise, and she fulfilled it. Before I end this talk, I'd like to tell you about how I stepped onto the pavement, and that is my ministry. My ministry is all about welcoming people into love, and I want to share a vision that was my calling story. I have a guru, her name is Saima Lakshmi Devi, and I was in a program called Journey of Profound Awakening. While in deep meditation, I had a vision of Jesus and me. We were walking up a grassy hill, and we reached the peak of the hill, and we saw a river. Jesus picks up a stick and points with the stick to the river and said, "You see this river? This river is love." And he threw the stick into the river. He then picked up a stone and pointed to the stone. "You see this stone? This stone is hate." And he threw the stone into the river. He then said, "You see how the river envelops the stone? That is how love envelops hate." Jesus grabbed me and we ran to the river and jumped in. And as we were frolicking in the river with pure joy, we noticed the disciples at the top of the hill. And Jesus said to me, "Invite them in." You see, being a minister and being the love that you are is inviting others to their true nature, which is love. You are all love, whether your love is like that wilted rose with the mold and mildew, or if it is full blossom in its beautiful state. Our work, as Mother Teresa suggests, is meeting life at the point where you see it. If there's an opportunity, benefit from it. If there's a beauty, admire it. And if there's a challenge, meet it. It's so easy to skateboard life, but we can meet the present moment. We can connect with people. We can command, not control. We can make choices for our highest good. And most importantly, live our lives authentically. Let's resolve to live our life fully. And so it is. Amen. So let's take a deep breath in and exhale. And another deep breath in and exhale. And let's go inside, knowing that the Christ within me is awake now. As we go inside, we notice our physical heart. And behind our physical heart is our sacred heart. The space between the physical heart and the spine. And we visualize a doorway. And we open that doorway and walk in, noticing beautiful crystalline white light infusing your body as you walk in. And as we go further into the chamber, we notice a rainbow path. As we walk in, we notice a wall of red light. And as we walk through this wall of red light that infuses our body with the quality of safety. And as we walk a little further along the path, we encounter a wall of orange light infusing our body, giving us the quality of balance. And as we walk a little further along the path, we encounter a wall of yellow light infusing our body, giving us the quality of strength. And as we walk a little further, we encounter a wall of green light that infuses our body, giving us a sense of love and healing. And as we walk a little further along the path, we encounter a wall of blue light infusing our body, giving us the power of the word of truth, infusing our body with truth. As we walk a little further along the path, we encounter a wall of violet light, infusing our body with the quality of transformation. And we walk a little further along the path and we notice some steps. And we walk up those steps. And we notice this beautiful crystal palace with the doors open wide. As we walk into this crystal palace with the clear walls all around us, we walk into the center of this beautiful atrium. And as we approach the center, all the lights that we had around the path surround us, infusing our body. And we look up to a beautiful skylight where a beam of white light comes down, giving us the quality of wholeness. And as we are deep in our inner chamber, our sacred heart, we go into a period of silence. As we prepare to leave this chamber, start to notice your feet, your legs, your hips, your torso. Roll your shoulders and move your head. And when you feel ready, come back to the room.
Come to our closing prayer. We trust our ways to him and say amen. In peace, we will continue in his way and trust all things to him. In confidence, we wait his answers as we ask his will in everything we do. He loves God's Son as we would love him, and he teaches us how to behold him through his eyes and love him as he does. We do not walk alone. God's angels hover near and all about. His love surrounds us, and of this be sure, that he will never leave us comfortless. And so it is. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you.
We are so blessed here at Unity Center DC for extraordinary speakers, talented musicians who share with us each week their God gift, their message, their inspiration. And for us as recipients, I'd like you to take this moment and be grateful. If you want to express your gratitude by giving a gift to Unity Center DC, it's possible. We'll put up on the screen the options, but you can give online, you can mail a cash or a check to the address you'll see on the screen, so that we can continue this ministry, which has blessed us all. Thank you.